Let me ask you a simple question. Imagine someone broke into your mother's house, stole her car, took the deed to her home, and seized her land. Now, imagine the thief didn't keep it for themselves. They handed the keys of that car and the deed to that house down to their child. And that child drove that stolen car, lived in that stolen house, and later passed it down to their children, and their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren. Generations pass. The thief's family lives comfortably on that property. They call it their inheritance. They call it their hard-earned success. At the end of the day, who does that car, that house, and that land actually belong to? Does it suddenly belong to the great-grandchild simply because time has passed? Or does it still belong to your mother and the family it was stolen from in the first place? You know the answer. Time does not turn a theft into a legitimate title. Passing a stolen item down to your children does not make them the rightful owners. It just makes them beneficiaries of a crime. And that brings us to the uncomfortable truth of the world we live in today.
When the destruction comes from the Creator, and make no mistake, it is coming, it will not miss a single soul who stood in comfortable silence. This is not a warning of something new. It is the inevitable return of a historical reality. It has happened over and over and over again. The same hand that tore Africa apart for its land and resources, the same hand that stole the genius and inventions of enslaved Black Americans, burying the names of the visionaries who built this nation, the same hand that slaughtered the Native Americans and built an empire on top of their mass graves, calling it progress, is the exact same hand carrying out genocide against the Palestinian, Sudanese, and oppressed peoples across the globe right now. And you sit back, wash your hands, and claim you had nothing to do with it? You are just as guilty as the thief who took it. You are just as guilty as the murderer who drew the blood. You are just as guilty as the tyrant who built the cage. You sat back and accepted the inheritance of that violence. Generation after generation, growing fat, wealthy, and comfortable off the interest of spilled blood. That blood is not ancient history. That blood is still wet. That stolen wealth still belongs to the hands it was ripped from. That so-called success was never earned. It was extracted. And you didn't just watch it happen. You sustained it. You voted these warmongers into power. You cheered for their propaganda. You watched them hide their atrocities behind the weaponized word, terrorism, while they committed the ultimate terror themselves. Your convenient, cowardly silence was the armor that protected their arrogance. Your compliance was the fuel that fed their pride. So do not dare stand there and pretend your hands are clean. The blood is dripping from your fingers, too. The debt is due, and the hellfire is waiting for its fuel.